Ever thought about downsizing your home? You're not alone. Seems like more and more people are considering a move to a smaller pad these days, but like any big decision, it comes with its own share of ups and downs. Sure, a smaller house might mean less cleaning, but it also means less space. So why are so many folks considering this? Let's dive into the pros and cons. First up, let's take a look at the positives of downsizing. Downsizing can be a financial game changer. Imagine a world with lower mortgage payments. A smaller house often means a smaller mortgage, and with less square footage, your utility bills can take a significant biff too. That's more money in your pocket each month. And let's not forget maintenance. A larger home can become a money pit with constant repairs and upkeep. But when you scale down, there's less to maintain. You might just find yourself with a surplus of savings, and who doesn't love the sound of that? But the benefits of downsizing aren't just about dollars and cents. They're about lifestyle too. Think about all the time you spend cleaning rooms that are barely used, or maintaining a yard that feels more like a chore than a joy. In a smaller home, you can reclaim some of that time. Less house means less cleaning and maintenance, freeing up your weekends for the things you love. And here's another thing. Downsizing can be a golden opportunity for a fresh start. It's like hitting the reset button on your living situation. You can declutter, get rid of those items that no longer serve you, and create a space that truly reflects your current lifestyle and tastes. Finally, downsizing might just open the door to living in a more desirable location or community. Perhaps there's a bustling city neighborhood you've always wanted to try, or a quiet seaside town that's been calling your name. A smaller home can often mean more flexibility in terms of location, making those dream spots a reality. Sounds pretty good, right? But before you start packing your bags, let's balance the scales by looking at the other side of the coin. Now, let's switch gears and talk about some of the potential drawbacks of moving to a smaller place. First off, downsizing often means parting with some of your cherished belongings. You might have to say goodbye to that comfy old recliner or your collection of antique teapots because there just isn't enough room in your new place. This can be emotionally challenging, especially when it comes to items with sentimental value. Then there's the adjustment to a smaller living space. If you're used to sprawling out in a 4-bedroom house, a 2-bedroom condo might feel a bit, cozy. And by cozy, I mean you might feel like you're living in a shoebox. It can take time to get used to less space, and during that adjustment period, you might feel cramped or claustrophobic. Now let's talk about the potential for higher costs. It might seem counterintuitive, but downsizing doesn't always mean your expenses go down. If you're moving from a rural or suburban area to a city, the cost of living might be higher, even if your new place is smaller. And even if you're not moving to a pricier area, there can still be unexpected costs. Consider storage, for instance. If you have items you can't part with but can't fit in your new home, you might need to rent a storage unit. And those costs can add up pretty quickly. Plus, there's the expense of moving itself, which can be quite hefty, especially if you're moving a long distance. And let's not forget about the emotional toll. Downsizing is a big change, and change can be stressful. You might feel a sense of loss or nostalgia for your old home, and that can be tough to deal with. So as you can see, downsizing isn't a decision to be taken lightly. There's a lot to consider. With all these factors in mind, how do you know if downsizing is the right move for you? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And while I can't make the decision for you, I can certainly share some strategies to help you decide. Firstly, consider your lifestyle. Are you an empty nester with kids flown the coop? Is maintaining a big house becoming cumbersome? Do you find yourself spending more time in a few rooms and leaving the rest collecting dust? If you've nodded in agreement, then downsizing might make sense for you. It's all about living comfortably, not just big. Secondly, think about your financial goals. Are you looking to save for retirement, pay off debt, or simply have more disposable income? A smaller house often means smaller mortgage payments, lesser property taxes, and reduced utility bills. But don't forget to factor in the costs of moving and the potential of having less space to host your grand Thanksgiving dinners. Next, ponder over your future needs. You might be perfectly capable of climbing those stairs now, but what about 10 years down the line? A smaller single-story house could be a blessing in disguise. And if you plan to travel often, Having a smaller home can reduce worry about maintenance while you're off exploring the world. Finally, weigh the pros and cons in the light of your personal situation. Downsizing isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. It might work wonders for some, but could be a disaster for others. Create a list and consider everything: the emotional attachment to your current home, the financial implications, the impact on your lifestyle and your future needs. In the end, it's all about what feels right for you. You might decide to downsize, or you might opt to stay put and make adjustments to your current home instead. The key is to take your time, think it through, and make a decision that aligns with your needs and goals. Remember, everyone's situation is unique, so what works for your neighbor might not work for you. So let's sum up what we've learned about the pros and cons of moving to a smaller house. Firstly, the benefits. Downsizing can free up a lot of cash, especially if you've got a lot of equity in your current home. It's also a chance to declutter your life, letting go of things you don't need. A smaller home means less maintenance, less cleaning, and less stress. It's a more manageable lifestyle, especially if you're reaching a point in life where you'd prefer to kick back and relax more. However, there are also drawbacks to consider. Moving to a smaller home means less space. This could be a problem if you have a large family, lots of guests, or if you simply enjoy the luxury of space. You might have to part with some cherished belongings or find new ways to store them. There's also the emotional aspect of leaving a place you've called home for years and the stress of moving itself. But let's not forget, downsizing doesn't mean downgrading. It's about making a strategic move that aligns with your current lifestyle and future goals. And remember, a house is just a building. It's the people and memories inside that make it a home. Ultimately, the decision to downsize is a personal one, guided by your own needs, preferences, and circumstances. We hope this discussion has given you some food for thought as you consider your options.